Welcome to the Playbook, the ultimate destination for youth sports enthusiasts. Get ready for inspiring stories, expert advice, and exciting discussions. My name is Lana Despacho. I'm the host of this program. I'm here with my co-host.
Hello, guys. My name is Rosa Mazella, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Thank you for watching all of our podcast episodes. We'd love to welcome you back to the third episode. And we're here with some special guests. Can you guys introduce yourselves?
My name is Jayson Pitts-Young. Thank you for having me, Lionel.
No problem.
I'm from Portland, Maine, born and raised. Just here to give some good talk, see what's going on.
Let's go.
Yeah, my name is Tyc Snow. Appreciate y'all having me, Lionel and Israel.
Yes, sir.
From the DMV area. I coach, I play ball. I was fortunate to play Division I in Mississippi Valley State. Later on, became a starting point guard for the Maine Celtics back in 2012. I'm excited to be here to talk about youth basketball, where we at, and the direction we trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about how you guys coach and what's your philosophy and approach to youth sports. And one question I would like to ask you guys is, what's your coaching philosophy like, especially with different age groups and different levels of players that they are?
Wow, that's a heck of a question. As far as philosophy goes, a lot of coaches have different philosophies. And one thing about my situation is the coaches around here, I never really had any of the ones that are currently present. My coach was one of a kind, I feel like. And it was more like military, a little bit upbringing, like hard nose, mental toughness type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that seemed to be the only way to kind of matriculate and get to that next level. And so I think mental toughness. I think that that Marine, but also just no excuse type behavior is key.
Well, that's a great question. It varies and situational. As a coach, I believe it's about what you're trying to accomplish. I mean, certain age groups you coach differently. Sometimes you out there, the projective is to win tournaments and win state titles. Certain players, your overall objective is to produce them, maximize their potential, so they could be college material and even professional basketball. So overall, it's about the situation on who you coaching. Boy, I coach boys and girls, all ages. So everybody got their own perspective and what an agenda of what we're trying to accomplish. In terms of philosophies, um, my philosophy has always been the same for boys and girls. First order of business is be a player. It's your job to be great. I don't believe in role players at all. I believe everybody should play the game a certain way, which everyone play off with everyone. I mean, I believe in making aggressive plays. I mean, you can be aggressive and not shoot the ball. It's all about being aggressive, your demeanor, creating a 2 second advantage. You want your the defense to be in a scramble, and then you play off that, and you just it's a read. Defensively, philosophy is always the same. No threes, no layups,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just go from there.
And speaking of winning, how do you guys as coaches balance winning?
I mean, certain age groups you coach differently. Sometimes you out there, the projective is to win tournaments and win state titles. Certain players, your overall objective is to produce them, maximize their potential, so they could be college material and even professional basketball. So overall, it's about the situation on who you coaching. Boy, I coach boys and girls, all ages. So everybody got their own perspective and what an agenda of what we're trying to accomplish. In terms of philosophies, um, my philosophy has always been the same for boys and girls. First order of business is be a player. It's your job to be great. I don't believe in role players at all. I believe everybody should play the game a certain way, which everyone play off with everyone. I mean, I believe in making aggressive plays. I mean, you can be aggressive and not shoot the ball. It's all about being aggressive, your demeanor, creating a 2 second advantage. You want the defense to be in a scramble, and then you play off that, and you just it's a read. Defensively, philosophy is always the same. No threes, no layups,
Mhm.
and then we just go from there. Play off of everyone. I mean, I believe in making aggressive plays. I mean, you can be aggressive and not shoot the ball. It's all about being aggressive, your demeanor, creating a 2 second advantage. You want the defense to be in a scramble, and then you play off that, and you just it's a read. Defensively, philosophy is always the same. No threes, no layups,
Mhm.
and then we just go from there.
And speaking of winning, how do you guys as coaches balance winning and player development?
I'll let you go first again.
Winning and player development. At the end of the day, it's about defining winning. I mean, what is winning? I mean, you can win a championship and still be considered a loser, and you can lose a championship and still be considered a champion, based on your mentality, based on your perspective, or how you approach the game. Um, Everything is a learning experiment. Meaning everything is always about development. I mean, it's not
I
about
do agree along what he said. Developing a championship mentality. Um, but I do play for rings. I do play for gold. That has always been my culture. And being from here, how many teams have you guys seen go in high school main basketball, no matter what class, go 22-0 and ultimately win their state championship? It's very rare, if not any. And so I have I have a state championship and I also have a college championship, and those things meant the most to me. Um, to go with like role playing, I mean, I think role playing is important because you have to learn to succeed in one role to get to the next, and I feel like learning through that will develop so many great skills in different areas. Versus, you know, we all do want to be the player to score 20 a game, but that's not reality. Like you said, also be great at whatever you do, and if that's rebounding, 10 rebounds or getting steals or just being a menace on the ball, that's what you want to do. But ultimately, you do want to develop all skills, and you do want to be a complete player, like he said as well. But no, championships is that's all I ever played for, ever.
Where
And
did you guys? You guys play for high school?
I went to Portland High School. Got to represent the city, which is fun. Um, Congratulations to the boys football team. I was actually the my captain, but we lost to Chevrolet, and I was all sad walking up the Chevrolet Hill one day. But it was good to see that they finally broke the curse, and I really just, yeah, championships is everything. So when we lost and carrying over as a senior captain on my football team, I was just like, all right, basketball season's up. Like I can't let anything slip. We can't let anything slip. And I had some really good players on my team. Um, I'm the only one that got a full scholarship, but granted, I had some other guys that definitely could have been. It's just about sometimes we'll say politics, who you know, your networking, right? How important is that growing up? And also just believing in yourself. I had a coach that really taught me how to believe and manifest and just never give up. Other than that, though, yeah, no, 22-0.
Wow.
I mean, when's the last time you guys have seen a team do that?
Not recent.
Not recent.
Not recent. No, like think about it.
It's been
No,
a long
take
time.
like
Yeah.
there's not. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
happen
it
all the time.
takes that mentality of understanding your role and not trying to be too much bigger than the system sometimes.
Mhm.
And that's always helped me. That's helped me.
And what was your guys' experience like growing up and being, the outstanding hoopers in your city, or just like, being that person that everybody knows and talks about? What was it like?
Well, for me, I wasn't like the best guy. Like I was literally freshman year, I played varsity, but there was another freshman that played more than me. Sophomore year, played varsity again, but I didn't start. I started probably like half the season, but there was another kid that played over me, and we were like sparring partners. But for some reason, he always got the upper hand. And people mature faster. Sometimes things happen, whatever it is, politics, and but that adversity gave me an idea to like it doesn't matter. Like I have to do what I have to do, and if they seriously think that he's better, I just got to keep trying to prove myself. And now all my teammates, we all went D2, but I was the last one of all my peers to get my scholarship, and that built a lot in me because I had to watch them all, slowly take a deep breath, getting paid to go play, and I'm like, man, what's gonna happen? I had to go win that stage, and then I played AAU after graduation. Didn't get my offer until August. Must have been August 20th, like 3-4 days before moving day. And so, just having like that mental fortitude, it was just it created a different energy, I think. And I was able to be the only person on my team to get a full scholarship.
I started my AAU career in the third grade, and we had 15 players on the team. I was literally the third string point guard. I was the last person on my team. 15. There was 14 kids ahead of me.
That's how it happens.
And we played Richmond Gold back at home, state championship. My whole family's there. I got 5 older brothers, a sister. We 10 deep. I'm out there. I'm hyped before the game. Championship game. AAU States. I didn't get a single minute.
Yep.
I didn't touch the floor.
Yep.
I didn't get in the game at all. And my dad, my brothers, they was like, yo, you a bum.
Yeah.
Straight up. Nobody talked to the coach. I took it on the chin. But that summer, the backup point guard, he started focusing on other sports. Started playing baseball.
Yeah.
I stayed in the gym.
Things like that will really wake you up.
I stayed in the gym.
Yeah.
And that fourth grade year, I went from the third string point guard to the second string point guard. I surpassed him because, he was tiptoeing. He wasn't know that I was targeting him.
Girls probably started calling him more. You probably thought he was the coolest kid at school.
Fourth grade, yeah. You already know.
Uh-huh.
So, more of the story is that it was a grind. In third, fourth, fifth, sixth, I didn't become the starting point guard till like my 7th grade year. It was a grind. I actually had to earn every minute I got. But I would say this, when I got the starting spot, I focused, I knew exactly what I did to get there, and I just never turned back.
Yep.
My 8th grade year was my breakout. I scored 87 points in middle school. Damn. And from there, I took every day as, you either gotta hunt someone because you always being hunted. Somebody's trying to take the spot, just like I was trying to take somebody else's spot.
Yeah.
And that was the process. So I believe back to like role players. I believe being a complete player, you gotta know every position. I've been that last guy on the team. I've been that last dude, that 15 dude.
12th man picked on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've also been that guy, that number 1 guy, and also been that guy who's the first person off the bench. So you understand every role. It's easy to communicate, especially being a coach. Now I'm coaching these young kids. I know every perspective of the game.
Right.
I know how to talk to my best player. I know how to talk to that person who's getting spot minutes because I myself was that person.
Right.
And, so it's great that kids develop adversity. You got to go through it.
Yeah.
You
No.
just got to go through it.
To go real quick, just to go with what he said, man, that adversity and like just being told you're not good at the time when you're not, and being told the truth. Like I'm in 7th grade and my teammates is making fun of me because I can't shoot. You guys know how it feels when you can't shoot, you can't make the basket, and everybody's just poking fun and they can shoot it already, like they can get it there. And anyway, I came back home and I'm all upset and I'm like, man, I don't know, Mom. Like, this is crazy. And she's like, what are you going to do, quit and just play football? Like, what are you going to do? And I was like, nah, I'm not going to quit. I can't quit. I can never quit. It's not in me. but I was a 12th man on my AAU team in middle school and always being overlooked. But my mom didn't play basketball. She ran track at Portland, and that's all I had to really give me that push. So one thing I'm grateful for, though, she just kind of gave me the sport and let me figure it out each day at a time, and just kept encouraging me best way she could. But she's not a basketball player at all.
Um, what do you guys think about people who play multiple sport? Because you said your friend, he was a second string point guard, and then he started playing baseball, and now he was a third string. So what do you think about that in your
Uh,
athletes?
it,
That in your
uh,
athletes.
it depends on your overall objective. I mean, basketball. I think basketball is so competitive now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the moment you think you nice, you instantly not.
Right.
Somebody gonna pass you. I mean, I break it down like this: it's 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
You sleep what? How many hours a day?
8
You
hours.
sleep 8.
Yeah.
I just
So-
try to get at least 6.
So
I'm
that's
hurt.
8. So you sleep a third of your life away.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you need more time to rest, then you're a bum. Now with multiple sports, it's about that back to that 25 a day. If you have the time to do other stuff, like as a hobby, that's fine. You know, practice at 7 p.m. Don't miss practice. Meaning, you want to play football at 3 p.m., play football. If you want to play at 6 p.m., play at 6 p.m. Practice starts at 7:30. You feel me?
Let's coach.
As a basketball player, basketball got to be your priority all the time. This is just my perspective. Everybody got their own 2 cents. I mean, I think growing up, though, 3rd, 4th, 5th, soccer is very important because of agility.
Yeah, and the footwork
And
especially the
so
footwork.
to do things young at that age is always a good thing. But in terms of, like, perspective in, like, 6th grade, if you play football season is about, what, 2 to 3 months?
Yeah.
Easily, right?
And then
So
basketball starts.
from the 6th grade to the 12th grade, if you played football 3 months out of the year, that's like 21 months, right? So that kid who plays basketball all year round, he's a year and 9 months ahead of you, based on the simple math.
Because all the work he's putting in every
All
day.
that work you put in. So it's all about putting in the work. You know, if you work, it will show. You know.
I think playing dual sports, or what they used to call it was cross training. My coaches used to call it, because it's different muscles, it's different angles. You're trying to do different things out there. But for me, I played football since I was 8. I was a quarterback. I started quarterback my sophomore year at Portland. We weren't very good. We were what, 2-8 that year. It was a young team, but I only started like 5 games, and I won 2 of those games. So you guys know that small piece. If I had 3-5 versus 2-5, it's night and day. It just could have went different. But yeah, that's a whole nother game. That was a overtime against TA that really decided that one. But that's why we got our get back last week. So that was good. I felt good about it. Personally, I felt good.
But how did you guys improve as you're growing up, seeing people ahead of you? You know, you see people that are better than you, and you want to get better. You want to motivate yourself.
You just don't make excuses. You just, like you said too, like if you're playing other sports, it doesn't mean give up what you love to do. Like I did love playing football, and I just always made it to the gym. Like I always got to the gym, at least 3 times a week, at least. And but that was, and also in the mornings, my coach Russo used to just open it up for me and my other friend, and we would be there like 6:30, shower, and then go to class. And that was a real big blessing. I'm not gonna lie. That gave us a lot of opportunity to take advantage of. But yeah, I think playing cross sports and playing another sport, it helps you not burn out mentally. I think like a lot of kids will put all their eggs in that one basket, and sometimes it's easy when you're only doing one thing for a long time. You start just kind of getting,
Tired of it.
Bored.
Yeah.
You just get, it gets burned out. I mean, you want to do something else sometimes. But I think it's important to play a couple different sports, and if you are just gonna play one, then that's got to be the main goal. Has to be.
And
Just I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you
Yeah,
good, you good.
piggyback on that. I mean, you absolutely correct. I mean, I love that mentality. My situation, like it's all about how do you approach the game. I mean, why do you play the game? I think the motivation it matters. Like, do you play to have fun? Do you play to try to make it a job?
Maybe because
Um, basketball was my third favorite sport.
oh,
All right.
what was the other sports?
Baseball was my favorite sport.
Yep.
Football was second.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball was third.
Yeah.
And what changed my life, I promise you, was baseball. I played a baseball game,
Mm-hmm.
and I was a dog. Like I
Right.
had um, inside the park home runs all the time.
Probably could have did that in college. You
So
know?
you
Yeah,
could have went
yeah,
D1 in
so-
baseball.
Yeah, so
True.
true story. It's a true story. I was dominant,
Mhm.
and then after the game, my brother, his best friend, he came up to me and was like, "Man, Tick, you should play baseball because you got a better chance of going professional
You last
baseball
longer sometimes.
than
It's kinda
basketball
fun, yeah.
because I'm short. I'm 5'5"
Yeah.
and 3/4. At third grade, I was even shorter.
Right.
But like when he said that, like when I say everything went red, it was
Yeah.
just straight black.
Mhm.
I was so competitive, I instantly retired from baseball. That was my last game.
Wow.
That was my last game, and I was like, I'm gonna play basketball.
Because he
Right.
told you.
Just because
Yeah.
he said
Just
that.
because he said you can't.
Like, so for
Can't
me,
make
it.
it wasn't even about loving the game.
Yep.
It's about being competitive.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, like I never wore cleats playing football.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, even in high school, I mean,
Mhm.
I was always a freak of a nature. I was dunking
Mhm.
in the ninth grade at like 5'2".
Dang.
Hey,
Like real talk.
Yeah,
So,
I don't
like-
dunk.
So I was a straight athlete.
That's why I went D2 though.
But with basketball, it was about being competitive, man. Like
Being a dog, having that mindset.
That's it. And we played 3-on-3 with my family. My mom and dad was blessed to have 6 boys. I'm the youngest, so I grew up getting beat on every
Yeah.
day by my brothers.
Yeah.
It took me 2 years just to get a shot up. Better yet, score.
That'll do it.
Yeah, so it's about being competitive, and then once you overcome that, you're just a dog.
Yeah.
You know?
To go with what he's saying about being competitive is when I'm saying like we went to the gym at 6:30, we didn't go to the gym and shoot around. Like me and my friend are playing 1-on-1, trying to like bite each other's face off, trying to score on each other, like getting into fights, before school and like really getting after it. But there was such a big respect level as competitors. Like when you have that person you can compete with all the time, and then you're also good friends, it just creates a different environment. And I think that is a key thing too to making it out and taking those steps to success.
yeah, I'm still a multi-sport athlete, like basketball and soccer. But as I was growing up, football was one of my main sports. I played football when I was growing up.
I remember.
5'5",
Mm-hmm.
little kid, just running around full speed.
Yep.
I played corner, and sometimes they'd put me on the O line because not that many people were big.
Yeah.
So basically, I played Pee Wee. It was fun. I had a great experience until I realized, football is not really my sport. I always grew up playing basketball. Basketball was the first ever ball that I ever held, and like I said, what, I
And
actually
you
want
last
to continue.
longer. You last longer.
Exactly. I
Football
felt
is
like,
tough.
I want to play this sport for the rest of my life. And then I had to, put down the helmet, the pads, and I just started focusing more on basketball. Then, made me the person I am today. Football, it comes with a lot of injuries, more than basketball, more than any other sport. And if
Lot
I
of
ever wanted to
hits.
last longer and, be the person I want to be in the future, basketball is me. Basketball is just a great part of my life. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just a great sport.
You're heading the right direction.
Yes,
You're heading the right direction. Even just like real quick, since we're talking about football real quick, playing, and the best thing that ever happened to me was when I wish I kept playing quarterback, selfishly, but it was a blessing in disguise when we got a new coach my junior year, and all of a sudden they want to give the ball to one person all the time, and they just keep going and going, and I'm like, all right, all of a sudden I'm not getting my touches, I'm not getting the ball anymore, and like I had like half half the carries on one of the running backs team on my team, half the carries, half the yards. Mind you, he finished with the Fitzpatrick Trophy runner-up. So I'm like, wow. All right. So my body is way more intact and I'm feeling okay more. But that was a blessing in disguise. So sometimes there's those changes that happen. And as a competitor, you want it, but then you're like, you know what? My main goal is my main goal. And for, like you said, you want to prove somebody wrong. For me, it was just me and my mom, so I knew I had to get a scholarship. Like, I didn't care if it was D1 or D2. I just knew, especially I kind of wanted D2 because, you get to, like, loosen up a little bit. You just playing. And also, it's free education.
Yeah.
And if I can lighten that load off my mom, that was my only goal. Once I pretty much got to, like, 8th grade, I'm like, it's only about getting a scholarship, you know.
Um, what's the most important lesson you teach your young athletes?
Go for it first.
Um, well, that's a great question.
Yeah, right. That was
Uh,
putting
um,
pressure on us.
yeah. Basically, probably discipline. You gotta be tough, man. You know, we all one phone call away for from our lives just changing. Adversity. You gotta be mentally tough. At the end of the day, you gotta survive. You know, you gotta survive. You gotta go home. You gotta help. With your family. You just gotta survive. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to get deep into it, but suicide is real, especially um, in the young generation.
Yeah, I remember doing suicides a lot.
No, Israel, not running.
Not
Oh,
running
shoes.
suicides, bro. Dang.
But no, mental health is
Yeah,
key.
yeah.
Seriously, mental health, and just like not taking yourself out of the equation.
I thought Coach Tick meant the, because
No.
because we used to do a lot of drills. We used to do, I was a,
Worry about it. Hey,
17, 6 suicides. Yeah, I'm good.
hey, you know what's
We
funny
talk
though? I
about
call them
mental
wake
health,
ups. I
right?
call them wake ups now because, like you saying, like I don't want even that thought in their head, so I call them wake ups now.
But yeah,
Go ahead though.
mental health is real, and our young generation, our kids, they suffer with anxiety. So like what I teach, man, y'all know because I coach y'all. Be fearless, man. You gotta be fearless and don't fear losing. Don't fear losing. Fear is our kryptonite. Don't fear losing and respect the game and have fun, relax.
And as coaches, how do you guys help your players overcome anxiety and some fears that they have before any games or?
I'll get into that in a second. Let me answer real quick that last question because I just want to talk about one instance, and I don't think he's gonna mind me talking about it. We're so close, and you never know what kids are going through. You never know what is going on at home sometimes. But when you do know, as coaches, it's so important to like actually step up, even when you got your own stuff going on. Maybe you're young. I was young at the time, but one of my kids that I uh, had him since he was 11, and I've had him for like 3 months at the time. And his dad passed away, and when that happened, that really hit a trigger in me because one, I didn't have a dad, so when that happened to him, his mom's like, "Hey, do you mind just?" She has two other younger daughters, and she's like, "You mind just like spending some time with them?" And just spending time with him, that ask felt like not it felt like a big ask, but I could understand that there was so much behind that small ask, and I took on that responsibility, loving the responsibility, and he's become very successful, and he's very promising, and that mental toughness and having the understanding that stuff happens, things happen. You're one phone call away from a call you don't want to get, but you got to keep going. You don't have a choice. When I was a freshman, my nana got breast cancer. When I was a sophomore, my mom got breast cancer. So at that point, I'm thinking, all right, where am I going to go? Who am I going to live with? Like, if it goes south. Granted, it didn't. They're all cancer survivors now. But at that point, so I understood too, like, I'm already kind of turning my mind as a 14, 15-year-old, like, dang, nothing's guaranteed. And so one thing I try to tell my kids is take advantage of your opportunities and go hard today because nothing's promised tomorrow. And be there for each other. Be nice to each other. Make sure that you're not just being a jerk. You know how kids can be. You know, it's easy to say negative things all the time. But be different. You know, be positive. Be fun. You know, you don't got to always tear somebody down to get a joke out of someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and but it's important to understand you just got to keep going. And it's important because that is how you take those steps to success, I think. You know.
For your guys' personal experiences as coaches, what inspired you to start coaching youth sports?
Getting yelled at, seeing all my teammates crying. And now, like our Mr. Basketball, I'll say his name, Dustin Cole, he was the best player. Shoot, if anybody hears this, they gonna know. But he had 1,800 points up on the Eagle. And this kid, I'm talking about, we playing BABC.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you guys know Wayne Selden Jr. He went to Kansas. But we're playing BABC, and we're all trying to figure out who's gonna guard him. Like, this kid is like 6'4". He just woke up. He's about like probably 190. And Dustin's in. He's getting abused, like getting hit. Comes to the bench. His mouth is all bloody. And so my coach is still on him. Like, hey, like this kid is giving it all he's got. And my coach is still badgering, like, you got to get to the basket. You got to get your shots off. You got to make it. Stop being so soft. And I'm like, damn. I've seen this kid go through way more than anybody else. And that gave me the understanding that, you know, the world is tough. And then I also wanted to be a coach because I want to have more of a personability. But I do respect my coach and how he taught us, Mike Woodbury. But it was just, I wanted to be like a 2.0 version, pretty much. That was my goal.
That's great. What inspired me to coach is all the bad coaches I had.
Yeah.
You know, I was at a JUCO, and I was hooping, and my coach, like, he was a great guy. I can't say about anything negative about his character. I mean, he would go out of town and he would leave me his car. He generally,
He's very
he
generous.
loves
That's
me
right.
like 100. And towards the end of my my sophomore year, at that time, I had D1 offers in high school, but I had to go to JUCO, so I had to restart and start generate some more D1 offers. I didn't have any Division I offers. And he came up to me, and we had a conversation. It was as real as it can be. And he was like, I had a couple D2 offers. One of them was West Florida and Augusta out in Georgia. And he was like, you need to go here. You're like commit. Like, go to these D2 schools. And I was like, I'm going D1.
Yeah.
And he said, you have nothing. He was like, you have nothing. He said, nobody wants a 5'7" point guard.
At least he kept it real with you, though. But
He said, no one wants a 5'7" point guard.
Yeah.
And the conversation became, it was like F-bombs was being dropped.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
This is him talking to me, and this is someone who I looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he wasn't saying that to discourage it. He was just being real on his own perspective.
Giving you that strong mindset.
Yeah, he was like, he said, you're not going D1.
Yeah.
100.
But you still did, right?
Hell yeah, what
To
you
prove
mean?
him wrong. To prove him wrong.
What you mean?
Yeah.
So with me, it was like, no, that mental battle. Like, I had 5 people believe in me outside of my family.
Right.
Me, and me.
Yeah.
My dog and my sister.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be motivated. And so with him, you know, saying that I couldn't do it, and then I actually did it, and I'm thinking back like, damn, if he would have believed in me, I probably would have been 3 times better. You know, so with me, I'm a player's coach. I tell all my kids, be a big-time dreamer. Go to the NBA. Go to the WNBA.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Dream
You feel
big.
me? But if you're gonna dream big, you better, you gotta
Work hard.
put
You
that
gotta
work
put the
in.
work in.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? So
Be in the
that's
gym.
me in terms of my inspiration and coach. Man, I want people to be great. I want people to maximize their potential.
You know.
So, how's
Real quick, I knew I was gonna be a coach since I was like ninth grade. I always want to be a coach since I was a kid. But
how has coaching young athletes impacted your life?
taught me a lot of responsibility, a lot of sacrifice. It taught me that there's so much more things bigger than obviously myself, and I've had that understanding. But yeah, just a lot of responsibility. That's what it's taught me.
To you and the parents, or just
Well, it's taught me like how to pretty much just how to step up. You know, even when you don't want to wake up, even as like an adult, especially when you're like those years when you're in college and you're going to be an adult, those are very fragile years as a man, as a person. And I think just jumping right into it gave me that responsibility and gave me that discipline, more so outside of just dribbling the basketball. You know, more purpose with my life after dribbling.
That's deep. Yeah, with me, yeah, they this being inspirational, basically with the kids, as a coach, we have this leadership and responsibility where we can build a player's confidence and we can snatch it away. We have that power. And sad but true, but we all been in that situation as a player where a coach probably snatched our confidence. I was in the third grade, I promise you, back to that third grade.
Yeah.
You know, I dribbled through my legs one time and I lost the ball. Man, the coach, man, he was saying 4 new cuss words I never heard before. Yeah, honestly, and it scarred me to the point where I didn't dribble through my legs up until like high school.
Yeah.
His voice is still in my head in the
Every day.
third grade. And if you look at me now, I mean, I probably arguably, humbly speaking, I can say I have one of the best handles in the world right now. But that came from just knowing that, like, damn, like, when a coach getting your shit, excuse my language, like, it can impact you and it can affect you in ways that can scar you for a very long time. So with me, I'm going to get in your shit, but I'm going to do it in a positive manner. I'm going to do it to motivate you, to be like, hey, Lionel, dude, you that guy. You drop it 20, 25, but that's not enough. You can be a 35. You a bum. Israel, you a bum. You had 2 dunks.
Yeah.
You should have had 4.
Yeah.
You can get 4 dunks.
Yeah.
So for me, like, that's how I try to talk to my kids and inspire them. It's not just, it's the compliment, criticize. You always want to compliment first, criticize second. You know, build them confidence up, then tell them the truth why you're doing it.
Right.
And then, you know, we go from there.
And how do you help players reach that next level? Like, what do you do with them? How do you give them
Like he said,
motivation?
pretty much inspire, but also give them the tools and give them the understanding that's necessary to get to those next levels and understand that it's never good enough. You're like, when you're good, you can't start thinking you're good because there's always someone else who's chasing you or trying to get to the same spot you're trying to go to. And that's the hardest part, that there's millions of people trying to go exactly where you're trying to go. And you got to figure out what separates you from the next man. And really the only thing that'll ever do that is, you know, that the toughness, the heart, the charisma, the vibe that you set, your entity, really. And I really feel like if you talk to the kids and they become that one of one and they have their own personality, their own understanding, yeah, and they're not just following the crowd, you're already ahead. But yeah, separating yourself from the rest.
That's the key word.
Yeah. What's your favorite coaching memory, and what's one of your favorite success stories that you've had, like, throughout your coaching career?
I got one that just came.
Sure. I have a lot, man.
Right.
I judge. I mean, my success is my kids' success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I coach to maximize my players' potential. I only get excited when the player wins. So when the player goes to school or get a scholarship, that's how I win. Obviously, being able to play up to be a starting point guard for the G League, I have multiple successes as a player, championships, whatever the case may be. Same as a coach, but just to see my players maximize their potential, that's my greatest success story. Is to see them.
So about like, I've been at Wayne Fleet for 7 years now,
Yeah.
and my one of my favorite memories that just happened is that, well, you know what, just in general, helping the kids when they're young, and then when they get to the point of which we work towards, is the best feeling ever. So like when my kids go to college, or for example, like a couple weeks ago, I had this one kid. His name is Zane, and he came in like 7th, 8th grade, and he's like, Coach, pulled me aside. He's like, Coach, I know I'm not, where I want to be right now, but I want to be on varsity, and I want to play basketball with the team. I want to be part of this for a long time. And I'm like, Zane, you can be on varsity by sophomore year, as long as you take care of a few things. Mind you, Class C basketball in Maine is very low level, right? And so I'm like, you know what, like, you can do it. It's going to take work. And, granted, he was so green to basketball. Like, he had just started. That's in 7th grade, 8th grade. And he's on varsity this year. He's a sophomore. And he was just so excited. I'm just like, I told you. So that was one of my best or favorite memories. But just getting the kids to where they need to be, and then them looking back like, I did it. I did. I listened, and it worked out. But really quick, let me just say this. In high school, my memories of my coaches, and I think you should share one too, like a couple of years. But for AAU, we're driving to Atlantic City, and my coach gets a call from the school that had thinking about offering me. AIC's following me right now. It's a summertime. It's a live period. We're having a good time. We're traveling, trying to beat teams, competing hard, whatever. Anyway, my coach gets a call, and my coach, the college coach, says, "Hey, we're looking at his transcripts. It looks like he's going to be ineligible." That hurt a lot, And so to know that changed every course of direction. And my coach literally pulled over the van. He pulled over the van. He started yelling at me. And he's like, I told you not to take those honors classes. I told you to just take the regular class and get good grades. He just completely lost it on me.
Was that your AU coach?
This is my AU coach, Mike Woodbury. And he pulled the van over. He used to drive in the breakdown lane a lot too. But anyway, he pulled the van over hard. And we have all my friends are in there. Like, we're all teammates. And I got all my peers in here. A couple of them already got their scholarship. So it's like that humility and embarrassing is just all in one. But his son was his son Reese Woodbury. He had my back. He's like, "Jay, you all right?" And that's when he touched me. I lost it. So I'm like, look, I'm just got to take a walk behind the van, and I just started bawling. I just started letting it go. I'm like, man, my life is pretty much over. I'm ineligible. They're not going to offer me. Got to go to St. Joe's. But besides that, they ended up sticking with me based off my coach believing in me. And he literally fought tooth and nail along with Whit Legier, who's the Bridgeton Academy. He was our assistant AAU coach at the time, but he's the Bridgeton Academy current head coach. And they just went to bat for me. And based off my character, based off the reason, they gave me a 5-year scholarship for 4 years of eligibility. So that was a beautiful thing, and I couldn't have been more grateful for it. So.
And how did it go?
How did what go?
The 4 years.
Oh, so that's another story. So, like I said, one of my teammates, Mississippi Valley, I had 4 Division I transfers, and I'm the kid from Maine, in Springfield, Mass. And already there's no respect there. There's already no respect. You're the kid from Maine. Mm-hmm. And every day I showed up to practice that first year, and I had great leaders like Bobby Harris, who literally took me under his wing, and I would just pull up, hang out with them. You know, in college, trying to like learn from the older dudes. They're 24, 25. He could have went to Temple. He played at Assumption. All this. So he had his own story, and they won me a championship. Showed me how it was done, and then I kind of carried the torch for the next couple of years, and then I went back to my mentor, Woody. I went to Florida for an internship.
Florida State?
No, I went to Florida. You know how he opened up the training center?
Oh yeah.
And pretty much the nation basketball. It was huge. It was one of the big. It was one of the most prominent basketball clubs on the East Coast. And anyway, we opened up a training center. I was training the kids, the mayor's kid, and things just didn't work out because our relationship was very close. He's like a father figure, but how he talked to me was so military-esque, and we've had conversations of just like, hey, man, I feel oppressed right now. I feel oppressed, not depressed, but oppressed, where, you know, you're just always being talked down, and it was hurting. And I was like, you know what, I gotta get out of this because I'm starting to not even look at myself the same. And so I came back home, started coaching for a year, took a whole year off, and then I finished up at USM to get my 1,000 point. So in my world, I played 3 years of college basketball, and I scored 1,300 points. And that's when I decided to kind of retire, hanging up. I still have a whole year eligibility I'm not going to use ever. And because there's other people that weren't waiting for their turn, I've kind of done the things I want to do. Like I said, I always want to be a coach. So all I really needed was that, I felt like, and to kind of like make myself feel like I accomplished the things that I needed. I already surpassed all my peers. There's nobody I don't feel that was better than me from that class, even within 5 years of that class. So that was my goal, and I kind of accomplished the things, felt okay, so I could back out and could walk away and feel okay about it.
So your mindset that year was just that you're like better than everyone in that team.
Yeah, well, I ended up being the best player in my class, and I definitely scored the most points in college. As a translator, like Dustin scored 1,800 in high school, but college is different, you know? It's tough. He went to Franklin Pierce, and there's a lot of good transfers that go there too, and, you know, he also went through his own stuff, and life happens. But he got his 10 minutes a game. He played his whole 4 years, got his degree. Everybody has a different path, and I respect it all. And I just felt like, you know, I had passed on my peers, like whoever thought that they was better than me.
Did you come off the bench, or were you like a starter first year?
I started in college. I started.
No, your first year?
My first year on the court was my sophomore year in the classroom, right? So I redshirted. And it took like 7 games, 8 games. But my coach finally realized, you know, the Division I guys already think that they're good. So they're over there not doing everything they need to do, you know what I'm saying? And pretty much I just had to, I took over. I started the last probably 10 games, averaged like 18 points the last 10 games of the season. Brought my average to like 7 points a game because I was not doing well in the beginning half of the season. And then the season after that, I went from 7 points a game to 15 points a game, and ultimately scored, I was top 15 in scoring on any 10 my second year on the court. So staying there would have been a great situation. I probably should have stayed. But that's a whole nother scenario.
But yeah, as a coach, how can you like teach players ways to motivate each other when somebody's feeling down, someone's not making their shots, they keep putting themselves down, they don't have enough confidence? How can you like teach us how to motivate each other and push each other for our success?
Well, let the coaches coach, and you guys support each other. You guys should be your ultimate support system. And that's the biggest thing that I think this generation is missing. Everybody wants to harp on someone else or like tell them what they can't do. And it's about growing up, being mature sooner than later, you know? But I don't know, that's what I think.
Also, adding to what Lionel said, what do you think about people making mistakes, young players?
I mean, mistakes is part of the game.
Exactly.
I mean, like to perfect basketball, you have to be self-learned. You have to learn from experience.
Let's coach.
One of my kinfolk, I mean, not my blood relative, but Justin Robinson, great family Um, I watched him grow up since a baby, and we had a game plan for him to allow him to go out there and play basketball. A long story short, he sixth grade year, he probably averaged maybe 10 turnovers a game because he would see a pass and he would physically try to make it. He saw the pass, he just wasn't strong enough.
Tunnel vision.
Not tunnel vision, but we wanted him to go out there and maximize his abilities. So he was a point guard, and someone would go back door, and he would try to make that pass. He would see it, but he just wasn't physically able to make it.
So strong enough to
Yeah, so he was averaging 10 turnovers a game, and we didn't jump on him. We was like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. 7th grade, that went down to 8. 8th grade, 6. 9th, 5. By the time he was a junior in high school, by then he went. First he went to Montrose Christian. Then all of a sudden, long story short, he's at Virginia Tech. And then he was still the all-time assist leader. Then he played for the Washington Wizards.
Just from making mistakes.
You get what I'm saying? Yes. So the process was, go out there, play basketball. There's mistakes from aggression, which you trying to make a play, which all coaches should accept. Some don't. But the lackadaisical mistakes, that's when you don't want lackadaisical mistakes. You don't want mistakes off of lack of mental toughness. Just being lazy with the ball. But if you trying to make a play out of aggression, I think every coach should accept that.
So how do you help your players be successful?
Well, honestly, to go back to, and this is gonna correlate, but my coach, he didn't accept no mistakes, and it was easier for me because I was the 5-man on my AAU team, so I just got to rebound, set screens, make sure that I'm defending my man, and there's gonna be days that you have a tougher responsibility than others, but just having a high ceiling, a high standard, and just you want to shoot for perfection. As a coach, you understand it's never going to be perfect. But as long as you keep pushing for perfection, coming up a tad bit short of perfection is great. I think, and none of us are ever going to be perfect, but just shooting for it. Just shooting for the stars and shooting for the sun and ended up on the moon. You still ended up somewhere special.
Yeah.
Right? So
Dream big.
Accountability. Me, I'm a player's coach. The better you are, the more you are like me. That's just who I am. I believe in players. I believe we win based on how good my players are. So when we practice, I believe the better you are, the better the team is. So I coach players. So I have kids. I had a rule. It kind of came down a little bit when I came up in Maine. But back at home and in DMV, somebody got to drop 30. Mm-hmm. Somebody got to drop 30.
The DMV is the best basketball county, I'm pretty sure.
Why is that?
Well,
because we dogs. Yeah. What you mean? How is that?
Duran, you got what? You got all type Mello.
Everyone. It's the culture. It's the you was born to hoop.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the culture, how's the culture back then?
Back where at home?
Yeah.
That's I just said it.
Yeah. It was basketball.
You born to hoop. Did you grow up with that mentality of
being a dog?
Yeah, your mom and dad made you so you can go to the NBA, bro.
And it's like this, and you ask them how the culture is. It's just how let's say here, right? Baseball's a huge sport, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but for basketball there, and that's why I think Maine is such in the back of the barrel when it comes to basketball, because we don't prioritize it, especially within the high school games. And within, you guys getting ready to go into high school and stuff, there's no shot clock. That is detrimental because it's the only place in the world that doesn't have a shot clock.
When you go out of state, there's actually shot clocks.
Out of state, and just especially college. I just think college and getting you all want to play college.
Yeah.
Right? How do you think you're going to be prepared to do that? It's not by not having a shot clock.
So, what is the competition like outside of Maine? what do you see like the differences like between the players, how like
Athleticism.
they motivate themselves, and how they play differently from us?
Athleticism, more dogs, more I don't care who you are type of mentality.
Want to prove
think-
you wrong.
I think a lot of time kids from Maine get a little bit starstruck sometimes. I think sometimes they look good in front of like a good team, and they're like, man, they might take themselves out of it too soon, just because they're thinking like, dang, I saw this kid on YouTube. It really doesn't mean anything, And I think a lot of kids out there trying to take food off people's plate. I think that a lot of kids in Maine would just be happy to be somewhere sometimes.
It's a culture. Back at home in the DMV, we had a code. Like we had a real code that the community just go by, and the code is bring your game, not your name. Bring your game, not your name. What does that mean? It means nobody care about who you are. Your resume means nothing to me. Check ball. That's just a mentality. I mean, when NBA players come to the court, nobody care. Check ball. Like what you did yesterday means nothing
Today.
So with the culture of Maine in terms of like skills and talent, I mean, I've been all over America. I can honestly say people are the same physically, skillfully all over the world. Like I can honestly say that. But it's that mentality of how do you approach the game? When I step on the court, humbly speaking, I want to keep it PG, but it's a FU mentality. I'm him. Whether I'm him or not, deep down inside, I know I'm not him. But I'm going to play
Like
as
I am.
if I am, because, basketball is so mental, and it's a thin line, but between confidence and arrogance. You need arrogance because there's so much bad things that's going to happen in the game that you got to ignore. Like Lionel or Israel, y'all know this. Y'all can come down the court. You can miss 3 shots in a row.
Yeah.
It's your arrogance saying, oh, it's okay. I'm going to make the next one. You get what I'm saying? You need that type of arrogance. Confidence is more the humble approach. You gotta be confident in what you're trying to accomplish and your capabilities. But with Maine, true story. Like y'all just went to Virginia, made hoops, right? Blue Wave. I mean, y'all hooping. Y'all had a great weekend. I was also watching Team Maine. Team Maine, our 8th grade team. They went up against Team Loaded, the number 1 8th grader, right? From Team Loaded, and I was watching that game, and to me, I think Team Maine and Blue Wave, y'all are one of the best 8th grade teams in the country. But Team Maine, we lost to Team Loaded, but I think we lost for all the wrong reasons. No, they didn't approach Team Loaded the way they approached going up against y'all, Blue Wave. See, when you go up against your homeboys, you comfortable. You go out there like when y'all played that was like the best. Everybody's hooping.
Yeah.
But when you see a stranger, it's almost like people, their intensity drop. There's too much respect given to your opponent. And so what we have to change with Maine in terms of that culture is you got to go at these dudes. I cannot sugarcoat it. Like you never want to play dirty. You never want to foul hard. You always want to shake everybody's hands at the game. You always want to shake the coach's hand. But in between them lines, you got to get nasty with these dudes. That's the only way you make it.
Just to piggyback off too, congratulations to those teams who are going out there and competing, and those opportunities are great. I really feel though that the best 8th grader in the world, or whoever it is, you're mostly just making yourself a target at that time, because how many people have you seen that are the best in 8th, 7th, 9th, end up the best at 12th grade, when they're going to college? And I think a lot of the times kids they misunderstand the fact that just because you're great in that age bracket and that, things are going great, it doesn't secure anything for later. And you got to just understand, I would just say to those kids, you're mostly just making yourself a target. because I was one of those kids that was going to those tournaments, going to Vegas, going to Chicago, going anywhere. Actually won a national championship. I was only 14, but my 18U team, you guys can look them up, NB Nation, Chris Braley, Liam Langus, oh my goodness, Will DeFonte. Oh man, it was just so many. Alex Furness. But they won a national championship. They beat Julius Randle was there at the time. And that's a whole longer story. I was just kind of there. But it was great to see. It was a great experience. And just seeing those kids that are all guards and no names and people, just kids from Maine, come down and be elite guards and show up, make shots. Harry Rafferty, he was the best shooter I've ever seen. And he's only 5'5". He went to Wesleyan. He's actually he's an assistant coach for Michigan girls. And now he's in limbo trying to figure out, what he's going to do next. And I think he's going to do some great things. But it's just important to understand, you're mostly making yourself a target at that age.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that target, the dude that we talking about, I forgot, what's his name?
King Baker?
Yeah, from Team Loaded.
Yeah, King Baker.
Yeah, he a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk about, I don't know his situation at all. But I know back at home, a lot of these, I'm not going to say him because that's wrong because I don't know. But I know back at home, just my own personal knowledge, a lot of these middle school kids are getting paid.
Yeah.
Like get paid real money. I have a homeboy who I was training. I'm not going to mention what team or program, but he's under a circuit. He gets $300 a game. Literally, $300 a game because the competition is so real. And everybody's trying to win. Everybody. So if you a dog, if you 13 years old, and your AAU coach program's paying you $300.
I will never pay any of you kids any money to play. But go ahead.
Yeah, 100. But it's all part of that. He might be that next guy. It's as evil as it is.
It's an investment.
It's an investment. Yeah. People are treating these kids as you going to be that next guy. Remember me.
Yeah, but so
when you become that guy.
You can buy him a cheeseburger. You don't gotta mess up the whole game.
Yeah, $300.
Exactly. Ooh. But think about it like this though. If Team A offers your best player $300, he gonna take it.
Yeah.
So what you gonna do?
Offer him $500.
You got offer him
let them go.
$25.
Nah, I'm letting them go. Let it be.
And that's how it is. So in the competition, but if you look at I'm just gonna throw this out there, cause I'm real cool with a lot of the programs in the DMV, and a lot of them there's just a lot of EYBL teams in terms of Team Takeover, Team Durant, Team Mello.
Yeah.
All these teams are close by. They all in the same hood.
Yeah.
These kids.
Well, they don't got nothing either.
All programs, so the competition is real. And obviously if you win, programs get a lot of money out of these leagues. So it's a big deal. Yeah. It shouldn't be. Now that's another conversation.
We have a pizza party or something.
A pizza party, yeah. But nowadays, NIL, I mean, you a pro if you D1.
Yeah.
Because the NIL deal is so much.
No, the whole game just changed for sure.
Yeah, Cooper, what? What did Cooper make? 2.7?
I think I just said 2. Well, every time I go to my bank or savings bank, now I see him in a big old billboard right in the thing. I'm like,
you walk in, you're like, oh,
and he beat my sophomores. He was in 8th grade. It hurts a little, but he's
that's
tough.
Real talk. But you look at Duke, because Jeremy Roach, that's one of my youngest. Not just him, but literally Duke, 9 players left. They entered the transfer portal. And people say, how can, when Cooper got there was only 4 people on scholarship. The ones, the class that came in, everybody left. Right. And it wasn't because of bad coaching. It was because a bigger horse came in, and his NIL deal is going to take all the money. So all these 5-star players, they top dogs, so they left and went other D1 schools so they could get part of that pie too. Yeah, it's a business. I mean, it's sad, but
once you get there, you can think about that. But that's a whole nother way of thinking.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother way of going about your business.
Yeah.
But yeah, shoot. Once you're talking about millions or 100,000s, you're already in a good situation.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
So, like, what advice would you give to like young athletes that want to reach that next level? Like, what they want to be, make it to the pros?
I'd say just stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
I'd say listen to your parents. A lot of the coaches all want to have a say, and they all want to be part of the pie. But, either way, you would have been okay with or without them.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly about the work that you put in, your understanding, your true understanding. I think a lot of people misunderstand, like, what it's going to take. I think true understanding, whatever that means to people, is key.
That's very true.
Well, for basketball, it's understanding what is needed and what is wanted. I mean, NBA. When do you go to the NBA? I mean, if you're a top player, when do you go? Do you go when you are ready, or do you go when the league is ready for you? And the answer is you go when the league is ready for you. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're looking at a professional perspective, professional basketball players have one thing in common. Every one of us are specialists in a specific skill. We can do something that's an A on the board. And same thing in everyday life. You don't get paid for what you can't do.
Coach.
You get paid for what you can do.
1,000%.
So my advice to kids who wants to make it to the next level is focus on what you do best and perfect it. If you shooting 70%, which is a very high percentage, shoot 75% and you make it. If you a guard that could get to the cup all the time. Like, have an identity.
Don't stop what you're doing once you get to that level.
Yeah, have an identity that you can own. Like, that's how I made it. Like, I'm small, but I was a freak of nature physically, and I had a motor, and I can guard very well. So I was like, I'm going to perfect guarding 94 feet. I'm going to own it. And in college D1, there's 360 schools. You only need one. You need one coach to believe in you.
94 feet is a hard
That's
ass
it.
for me.
So me, like, I was able to understand that 360 schools, I'm 5'5", maybe 15 or 20 would give me a chance.
Yep.
300 would automatically say no because of my height. But those 20 schools, those are the schools that I'm a target in terms of I'm going to fit their personnel and I'm going to perfect the defensive end. Once I get there through my defense, my offense is going to keep me there. But to get there, you got to offer something that only you can offer. And if all of our kids have that ability to offer something, but the problem is they don't know, they don't understand that. They all over the place. Like, I'm gonna talk about you, Israel. You a freak of a nature. You know what I'm saying? You athletic, you fast, you have a motor, you can jump. Perfect that. You know, be that guy who say, hey, if anybody come to the paint line, Israel, that's Israel's home, and no one else. You know what I'm saying? If you have that identity, that hey, you coming through, I'm gonna block your shit every time. Like, if that's your identity, you will make it. But you gotta own it. But you gotta own something. You can't just be half. You gotta offer something that nobody else can offer. If you line up, you can shoot. You can score the basketball. You feel me? You can score the basketball, own it. You know, perfect that part of your game. You're a great communicator. You know, talk all the time. Be that player who say, when coaches come to the scout, come see you play, they be like, damn, that kid talks more than anybody in the whole gym. That's you owning something. You know what I'm saying? So if you own something, that's how you make it. But you got to, like you said in the beginning of this interview, that separation. Once you create that separation, which you must create, then that's how you make it in this business. But if you not separating yourself, if you just like the person next to you,
You're making it hard for them to pick something. You're making it hard for them to pick.
it's a flick of a coin.
Yep.
You know.
How do you teach your kids to have a strong mindset?
Let them go through it. Cry a little. You're going to get bumped. You're going to get bruises. Get up. There's a difference between injured and hurt. All that, and just grow up sooner than later.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference between America, really, and all the other countries that are, succeeding and doing well in their youth. It's just that we kind of pamper our kids. We kind of, tell them that everything's going to be okay, when in reality, sometimes it might not.
It's not.
And you have to make it okay. You have to give yourself that edge to make sure that you make it. And even for me, so when I bowed out and I retired after my third year and, scored my 1,000th point, I didn't want to go overseas. Like I told you, I really want to be a coach since I was in high school.
Great.
Since I went through it, pretty much my coach used to call me every name in the book, every name that isn't in a book, every name, the names that he's not supposed to be saying. No, and those names built such tough skin and such mental fortitude that it's very misunderstood. And that's why I am the black sheep, I think, in all of Maine. And I've always been the black sheep.
What does the black sheep mean?
Black sheep, just the guy that
Bad.
the guy that just stands out in a way that is so different, and people look at he's a yeller, he's mean, he's this, he's that. And for me, it doesn't matter to me, because I know what it took and what it takes. And unless you're 6'9" and above, you have to have that. There's no in between. You can't. There's no in between.
Mental toughness is so real. Mainly it's the culture, it's the family, it's the parents. Back to allowing kids to go through adversity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm so thankful for my family to allow me to be the third string point guard. Ain't nobody, not a family member or my mom or dad ever spoke to my coach for me not playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what the hell? Like, that's crazy.
Or hey, you want to go play?
That's
Or hey, you want
crazy.
to go play on this team instead?
Like some of these parents, when I say they hurting their kids with mental
Crippling
toughness, like no coach coaches to lose.
Right.
Of course, to win.
If you're not playing, it's because your sorry ass can't help me. I'm sorry. That's 100.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like why would I want to lose the game?
Right.
Johnny's not in the game because Johnny's a bum. like stop.
Absolutely.
Like get in the gym. If Johnny was a dog, if he out there hooping, Johnny would be playing. And there is no Johnny. I'm hypothetically speaking, because I don't want people to be like, damn, who's Johnny? so if you gotta put yourself in a coach's perspective, man. Mental toughness. Coaches love dogs, man. That does not mean you go out there and score 50. Right. No, we like people who listen. Mm-hmm. Can you comprehend what we trying to accomplish? And if you go 94 feet and you flying around, you working as hard as you can, every coach will love you.
And listening doesn't mean in one ear and you saying yes and then out the other ear, and then going out there. It means applying what you're being told. And I think that is another thing that Maine kids struggle with, is they'll say yes, coach, and then they go out there and do whatever they want to do, because they know there's only 8 kids on the team. There's only this group, and everybody else is doing it, so why can't I? And that is a big misconception. You just gotta do it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you guys being here today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your company.
Happy holidays.
Yes, sir. Happy holidays. Just want to give you guys a shout out. Make sure you guys find this podcast episode on the Spotlight TV on YouTube, and you can also find our Playbook Instagram. And make sure you guys drop a follow, a comment, and we appreciate you guys watching this. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your holidays. Stay tuned for the next episode.
All right.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks for having me. Good. That was fun. I can't wait to eat.